So in a recent video, I talked about some of the key things you want to focus on when getting fit for a disaster or an emergency situation. I talked about things like mobility, grip strength, cardiovascular endurance, and just being able to traverse uneven, rough terrain with weight. So today's video is going to focus on that last point, being able to move over uneven terrain with weight, either on your back or in some sort of vest where you're carrying your supplies, your weapons, your items, what have you. It's important to have these skills as part of your functional fitness toolbox because just like with any kind of disaster prep situation, you never know. Going down a hill like this requires that you strengthen your knees, for sure. Your hips, your ankles, your knees, they all have to be in pretty good shape before you go rough and tumble up and down hills like this, especially with weight. I'll link to some good videos in the description to a channel called Knees Over Toes Guy, and that man will get you situated with some bulletproof knees in pretty quick time. So go check him out. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about don't hike alone, people. I found a path. All right, there we go. Made it out. But yeah, you can also prepare yourself mentally for what injuries might occur, like sticking your hand in a spiky plant. Anyway, so if you've never moved with any significant amount of weight on your back, say 25, 30 pounds or more, you don't want to start there. You probably want to start with something like a weight vest or a really light backpack and just start moving on flatter terrain. That'd be step one, I would say. Once you feel comfortable moving pretty decent distances with that, start finding hills. Start finding non-paved surfaces to walk on, and that'll help your joints get adjusted to that weight. And then just like with anything, you want to progressively overload to a reasonable point where you can move over fairly rough and hilly terrain with a fairly significant amount of weight. So you increase 5 pounds, or you increase the length of your walk, or you increase the, it's fairly subjective, but you increase the difficulty of the terrain every week, every 2 weeks, until you are a master at moving over rough and hilly terrain. Another recommendation I'm going to give you is always use footwear that's supportive. When you go hiking, it's definitely recommended that you wear some sort of high ankle supportive footwear to try to reduce injury. And if you're like most human beings, you fall down sometimes, or out of necessity, you drop to the ground. You want to be able to get back up and quickly, because sometimes your life or someone else's life might depend on it. That sounds a little bit melodramatic, but you never know. Again, that's what prepping is all about, is preparing for the unknown and preparing for the what ifs. So get used to moving in a low crouch position. Get used to moving, crawling on the ground. Get used to being uncomfortable. We want to practice getting down and getting back up very quickly, even with weight on our shoulders or on our back or on our hips. We want to get used to moving quickly over the different types of terrain, up hills, down hills, without injuring ourselves. So I challenge everyone to go out there, start moving within your capabilities, progressing, overloading, and moving a little bit further each time with some weight on your back, because it will increase your chances for survival in an emergency or disaster situation. If you want a short video about some broader STHF prepper type fitness topics, check out this video. I'll post it up here and I'll post it in the description about some of the most important things you need to do for your fitness in order to increase survivability in an emergency situation.